King Philip and the Wampanoag War, 1675 to 1676. One of the worst wars in American colonial history was King Philip's, 1675 to 1676. The Wampanoag chief Metacom, also called King Philip, commanded a coalition of Native American tribes in the conflict against English invaders. The growing hostilities between Native Americans and English colonists in New England were a primary cause of this conflict. Context and reasons. Thanksgiving and early relations, 1621. In 1621, the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag, under the leadership of Chief Massasoit, observed what is now known as the First Thanksgiving. Since the Wampanoag needed assistance surviving in the new area, and the Pilgrims needed help fending off their adversaries, the Narragansett, the two groups first formed a mutual alliance. Increasing conflicts, 1630s, 1670s. Native territories were encroached upon as English colonists grew their settlements throughout the years. Native American customs were disrupted when colonists made them sell their land and follow English rules. Numerous Native Americans were converted to Christianity and assimilated into praying towns, which aimed to integrate them into English society. The conflict began immediately after 3 Wampanoag men were executed in 1675 for the death of a Native informant, John Sassamon. The start of the war, 1675. First attacks. The conflict began in June 1675 when Wampanoag warriors assaulted the town of Swansea, Massachusetts. New England colonial colonies were raided by Metacom's armies. The Nipmuc and some Narragansett were among the numerous other Native American tribes who joined the fight against the English. Colonial retaliation. The English retaliated with ruthless brutality and established militias. They killed or enslaved captured natives, ruined crops, and set fire to native communities. Hundreds of men, women, and children were killed in the attack on the Narragansett's Great Swamp Fort in December 1675 by the English and their native allies. Important conflicts and occurrences. December 1675, the Great Swamp Massacre. A sizable Narragansett stronghold on Rhode Island was besieged by the English. There were between 300 and 1,000 Native Americans slain. As a result, the hitherto neutral Narragansett joined the fight against the English in full. Towns in England are destroyed, 1675 to 1676. Native warriors set fire to and destroyed Providence, Lancaster, Springfield, and other English colonies. In Massachusetts, at least 12 of the 90 English towns were totally destroyed. Turning point. In the spring of 1676, the English take the lead. To find Metacom's forces, the English started enlisting the help of native allies like the Mohican and Mohawk. Disease and a lack of food made the native resistance weaker. Many Native Americans were sent to the Caribbean as slaves by colonists, who also offered rewards for native scalps. King Philip's death, August 1676, Metacom, King Philip, was ultimately apprehended and murdered in August 1676 in the vicinity of Mount Hope, Rhode Island. For 25 years, his head was displayed in Plymouth on a pike. Repercussions and aftereffects. Devastation for Native Americans. Numerous Native Americans who survived were sold into slavery, while thousands more were slain. The Narragansett, Nipmuc, and Wampanoag tribes were all on the verge of extinction. In New England, Native American dominance was irrevocably undermined. Effects on the colonies. About 10% of the male population of New England died during the conflict, which was very expensive for the English immigrants. Nonetheless, it established English dominance over the area and opened the door for more colonial growth. Instead of depending on native allies, the English aimed to establish total dominance over the area. Native American mourning and the Day of Thanksgiving. A Day of Thanksgiving was proclaimed by some English colonists following their successes over Native Americans. In order to honor their ancestors and the pain brought on by colonial expansion, many Native American tribes now observe Thanksgiving as a national day of mourning. Historical significance. In terms of population loss, King Philip's War was among the most catastrophic wars in American history. In southern New England, it signaled the end of native resistance. Several native civilizations in the area were all but destroyed as a result of the battle, which also strengthened English domination. It established a pattern for future bloody encounters between Native Americans and European colonists.